Hello, 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 gorgeous.
Hi, how are you going?
Oh, guess what? Must be a great day, right?
Yeah.
So, what's coming up for you today? As always, we've never decided what we're going to talk about before, so we thought we'd even decide on the call today, right?
Yeah. Structure.
Structure. Oh, now there's an interesting conversation.
Hmm. Um, Only because I found that I get overwhelmed because I have so many tasks that need to be done or don't need to be done. I put myself under pressure about what is I've given myself to do. But creating some form of structure. And so I'm actually starting to use this Pomodoro or something to help me timer, to keep myself on track with certain things. So I'm allocating a certain time, saying, right, stay on task for a set amount of time, then go and have a break or change tasks. Don't know about you.
Oh, you know what I'm like with structure.
Uh,
I have to admit, with all the training I've been doing and the focusing on it, I'm starting to understand the importance of it more and more. And the more and more I step into it or lean into it, the less chaos I have in my life.
mm,
And I can honestly say that I have had a lot of chaos in my life. And with that comes a lot of chaos for everybody else because I'm the tornado that comes on through and everyone feels it. So that's where I've been working really hard on being okay with and comfortable with structure.
mm,
A big work in progress because I'm just first of all getting comfortable with it. So next will be the actual figuring out what that structure is and then committing to it. So but it's not as easy as everyone. There are a lot of people that are very good at structure and they understand it and it's their natural way of being. And then there's some people like myself that have never liked it, just wanted to be free and just do as did free as a bird. But just come across what we needed to do when we wanted to do them in our own little time. And we wouldn't see necessarily everything that those other people see that need doing.
mm.
So it takes a lot of energy, a lot of energy to pull myself back and to look at myself and to look internally to see how I'm actually behaving and what impact that has on other people.
Mm.
And it's huge.
Yeah, mine is about learning, sort of like to pace myself better and not take on too much because I have a tendency of taking too much on and not delegating. I mean, some of the stuff I've written down because I actually created a little spreadsheet for myself.
You've got old spreadsheets. Whoa. I used to hate spreadsheets. I'm learning to like them.
Yeah, well, I created one for just the tasks and courses that I delegated or allocated to myself, and sort of the number of lessons that there are and what I've achieved and how many hours in a week this mounts up to. It was actually quite interesting because for the courses that I've actually putting time and energy in, it actually requires about 15 and a half hours a week of study. And that's not,
Study.
yeah,
Just study.
yeah, just study in my waking hours, you know. Um, so it's sort of like, wow. And now when I did that, I was going, okay, this is why I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
And it's funny because considering you're a person that sees what needs to be done, right?
Mm,
you can see it's working against you in a way, in this way, because you can see everything that needs to be done, but you're not taking everything into account. So you need to sleep, you need to eat, you need rest, you've got a granddaughter, like all of those
Got to
things,
work as well in between
and
when I
work
don't.
in between. And those things are not being in the whole sort of, for me, I can hear that. It's like you see everything, but you don't see everything. It's really, I know that's hard to explain, but those other things don't sort of get time allocated to them.
No, but
Yeah.
it was an interesting exercise for me
Yeah.
to do, because then I'm going, well, that's why I'm feeling
Yeah.
overwhelmed, and therefore when I begin to feel overwhelmed, then I begin to procrastinate, and then I don't get the task done. So this is why I'm setting myself the thing of saying, okay, use the timer, do one bit, focus on that. And it's beginning to get, I'm only just starting to do it, so it's creating a bit of structure. And I know like we both learned from Rory's course, the different archetypes and how we all behave, but we can lean into one or lean into a different one. And you the sort of sovereign gorilla can get very bossy and overbearing, and especially when you can't achieve all that you need to achieve. And therefore, actually, it's sort of a good thing for me to step back and say, okay, where do I need to prioritize?
What needs my energy?
Yeah.
What actually needs my energy to serve me, which then makes me in a better centered place. Then that actually has a flow on effect to people around us.
Yeah. And also gives me the sense that I am achieving something.
Yes. Yeah.
Because achieving something is important to me.
It's really interesting when you talk about that, and I sort of touched on it a little bit before around who sees what work needs to be done and who doesn't, or at what speed, and when does, like, I see when there's work to be done, but it's at a different time frame from when you do. You see it naturally within your archetype way before I do. You see it coming before it's needed to be seen. I see it at the very last minute when it's in front of me and it's urgent. And that's when it comes into my vision, my space. That's my awareness. It's that we know this from experience, right? But that's understanding that I hate this thing with different people, because we are different people, but
we have different strengths.
Yeah, but it's like I used to get in trouble all the time for not cleaning up a mess. I just didn't see it. Literally, it wasn't in my realm of visibility.
You were in the play. You were in the middle of play at that
point. Yeah, I know. And other people that are very into being out of center fox, a magician, have said the same thing to me. It's just not in our realm of visibility. Whereas you're so attuned, that's what you're meant to be doing. And it's an interesting, when we're in our own little world just by ourselves, it works. But we're not. We live in this world. It's a very structured world.
Support each other.
We need, and that's why I think you've helped me so much in the last, what is it, year and a half, 2 years?
I know. So quickly.
Oh my God. Hasn't it just? But it's you've helped me to learn those skills and be okay with that. Someone is actually, it's okay for me not to see it sometimes, and there are going to be others that see it first, and that's not right or wrong. Just understanding that's who I am, and if I choose to, I can lean into learning that skill. It doesn't come naturally to me, and I have to be aware of it. And creating structure, it's interesting for both of us.
Yeah, and it's also my side is learning to, although I see things, and like to plan for things, it's actually the manner in which I share that knowledge that can come across as being bossy or demanding or a tyrant-y type figure, or someone who's actually just guiding and showing. There's a different energy that goes with it. And at the moment, we're organising our AGM for the aromatherapy organisation, and there's a committee who is dedicated to sorting it. But there are certain things that I am seeing that need to take place. And so the natural tendency of me is to sort of like step in and sort of say this.
And do it. No, you just
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
do it.
even give them a chance. You just
No,
do
but
it.
I've actually this time I created some possible emails using ChatGPT. But I actually reached out to one of the committee members saying, these are suggested emails to generate this. What do you think? And they can go on automated. And
Yeah.
so I've opened up that possibility instead of jumping in and just doing.
Well done. Go you. I'm proud of you. I know how much that took for you to do that. So
yeah, well,
yeah.
it's also, you know, not like you don't realize that you're stepping on people's toes, because it's not that you want to, it's just that you can see a train crash happening before it happens. So you're sort of like, okay, if I divert this way or that way and bring this in, then the crash won't happen.
It's an interesting point though, because the other thing that it pulls on is someone else might have seen it, but they have a different concept of when it needs to be done. So they may have just seen it and decided that actually, right, well, in 5 days' time, I'm going to do that. But it's not fast enough for what you see happening. So it's like we all see it too at different times.
I think this comes down to communication.
Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah. It's sort of like if you're working on a project together, it's actually being clear with your communication, so that if you're the one who sees it but sort of thinks, so it doesn't need action taking place, but if you understand how somebody else works, and you can just quieten their nervous system by saying, I've got this, it'll be handled in 5 days' time or whatever. You know, the same as, hello. Oh,
well,
no.
It's the same with you seeing it.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Going to have to go and find out what she's just put in her mouth.
Okay, go.
I'm going to, can you pause this for now?
Yes.
That's fine. Right, sorry for the brief interlude. This is what happens when you have grandchildren around.
Absolutely.
They start eating fishermen's friends.
It shows your flexibility, Christine.
As we were talking about structure and things needing to be done when they need to be done.
You still need to be flexible.
Yes, I know.
It was an interesting part you were saying about communication, that, you know, like say I'm on the other end, and that if I've seen something, I could actually, if I know you and your nervous system, I could say, hey, look, I've actually identified this, and I've got it sorted, and I'll be doing it, blah, 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 blah. And vice versa. I was about to say, if you see something that's not done, then that's your opportunity to say to the other person, I've seen this, have you got it under control, or what's your plan? Yeah. So it's that, and it's understanding each other, isn't it? And we've done a lot of work on that, haven't we, Christine?
Oh yes, we have. We've done a lot over the years.
The universe has given us many practice moments.
Yes, and
we're still here.
And previously, if we hadn't been aware of this knowledge, if we had not gone through the trainings that we've gone through, this could have blown our friendship out the water or caused real friction where friction didn't need to be.
I don't know that we would have ever really got very far into a friendship, to be honest, because we were both quite out of balance, and we were triggering each other from the moment we knew we wanted to be friends and that we had similarities and we wanted to communicate and be together. But I tell you what, those triggers came fast and quick, didn't they? It's like, yay! The universe put us together and then tested us.
Well, it's all a growing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's actually, at the moment, I'm reading the book Take a Leap.
Oh, yeah, I've actually got that one.
Yeah, I'm choosing at the moment to read a chapter and then do a post on reflection. So I don't care if anybody, adds their takeaways to it, because I felt like adding that in, it was a reflection on my learning. And why was I saying this? It was to do with our growth. And it was saying, in there, it was sort of like the self-talk can be how, I messed up there.
Yep.
I really did a
you dumbass, or you stupid,
yeah. And the reason because in the book it was saying you have to then look at it. Okay, how am I growing through this? What could I learn from this? How could I change things? Not putting yourself down, looking at it from a different angle. And I think the growth that we've had over the last couple of years, instead of us looking immediately at the negative self-talk, which has been very easy to slip into, we've actually been working and slowly changing those neural pathways so that we are swinging towards more positive ways of looking at things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But it takes practice.
Oh, yes.
Because the old negative, the criticizer was very strong. It'd been fed quite a lot. And the neural pathways were wide and well maintained.
Mine were like six lanes on each side, highway wise. So yeah, no, I get where you go, and I like that. I think what I have not taught myself to do in the past is do that reflection on the learning afterwards. Take the time to reflect. It's just always been taken, and not actually totally take the time to reflect. And I think that's a big part of learning, isn't it? Is actually the reflection side of it. So thank you for that reminder.
Yeah, well, it was just came to me the other day, and I was sort of thinking, how can I deepen my understanding upon reading this book? Because there's some really good information in there, but I've found that I've just been like you were saying, just digest. Well, take it in, not even digest, taking it in.
Yeah.
And not really digesting it. And it suddenly hit me because I also have just finished reading David Hawkins' Letting Go book. And I did do one post or reflective post on that, which was about pride. And it made me think, well, if I could do that more often, then that will help my learning. And maybe somebody else who's reading the book, they may share their perspective on something. And that will help my learning, listening, seeing what they took away from it.
Yeah.
And again, that comes back to creating some form of structure. Because if I just read, or like you, because I know you like the audio books, you're just listening. And then we're not really doing anything with that knowledge.
No.
Knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing.
Exactly. Yep.
And I
Mine's
have absorbed a wealth of knowledge, but I haven't over the years. But it's that, can I really, do I really know it, or just know about it?
yeah. And that's that being. It gets stuck in my head about this
Yeah,
knowing or being. It's the
yeah,
same as knowing intellectually or really knowing it because you've done it, and then that becomes your being.
yeah.
And it's, yeah, I've been working a lot on that lately as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like September, when I was reading Busting Loose from the Money Game, you know, and I'd been reading it, and then I actually had to put it into practice because of the taxi situation and other things. And that was a good learning. And so because I actually put some of it into practice, pulling on that knowledge has been easier,
Yeah,
if you get what I mean.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Well, like I said before, the universe gives us opportunities to practice,
mm,
right? You can either look at them as a bad thing or an opportunity, and that's, I think, where I've changed my thought pattern lately. Is everything's an opportunity, or I go in with an inquiring mind. Okay, so how is this helping me, or what am I, what am I learning from this, or what have I missed? Yeah, all of those. Oh, what's next?
yeah.
Where have I come from? It's like, but it's so exciting for those little trip ups to come along.
Mm,
And then I look at how far I come to be able to be untriggered so quickly.
mm,
Trigger, but then I get back up on the horse. I might fall off, which is okay because I'm human and I'm not perfect and I'm not meant to be. I have noticed the length of time that I stay on that ground, pinned to the ground, so much less.
mm,
So much less. The awareness is there because it shows you I've been doing the work. And then I've got the skills, the tools in my tool belt, the knowledge to go, right, not doing that anymore. It doesn't serve me anymore. I'm done. Not behaving like that.
mm.
That little child is
And
not in me
not only not behaving in that way, but not talking to yourself
that way as
that
well.
way.
Yeah, that has hugely changed as well.
And that's part of that is beginning to shift for me, because I think I still held on to my criticizer quite a bit.
Sorry. I'm laughing because I know. It's like, we both know, right? Because we
Being
can
a good
see it
friend.
in each other. We can see each other.
Yes. This criticizer has been a good friend and companion. So actually, to really release something like that, there must be a process as well. That's what just came to me then. It's sort of like, if somebody has been a constant companion and you've been used to them being there, be they positive, negative, whatever, um, when they go, then there's that grief,
Mhm.
there's that loss, because you're used to it. And therefore, how do you stop yourself seeking it again? Because you're missing that connection with, although it's negative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why probably, you know, battered women go back to the husband who keeps beating them, because they know they feel secure in it, they're comfortable with it, they don't like it, but they keep going back to it. And that's what my self-talk has been.
Yeah, I think for me it's been around, first of all, obtaining the knowledge, right? That this is something that could be happening. And then for me, it's the awareness that it is happening and when it's happening. And somewhere in there is a decision to go, the knowing is that it's not serving me and it's not helping me. then I've got a decision, a conversation to have with myself, right? This isn't serving me. How important is it to me? Is this part of me? Is this who I am? Is this who I want to be? And then I go, well, no. And then it's acceptance that I'm not perfect, but I'm going to commit to spending some time and doing the practice to make it different, and then catching myself. And then just it's a cycle. It's like keep deciding that it's me, it's who I want to be instead of who I don't want to be. And it takes time. And it's okay being okay with time. That's what it is. I don't know whether that's anywhere near what the books might say or whatever, but that's working for me. And that's those little steps.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I think also what's helped me with some of this self-talk and negative self-talk and acceptance is I'm writing my own book.
Yep.
And I know you've been through that process. And in this, it's bringing up things that I had suppressed, and therefore it's allowing them to come out and surface and release. And so it's a very powerful thing to write your story, whether you want to write your story to sell or whether you just want to write it to release. Actually doing it and committing to it is a big thing. Again, structure.
It's commitment to yourself as well. And I think that's the one thing that I probably missed out in that sentence was the desire to want to improve and want to love myself, accept myself, to truly be my infinite expanded self that I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm actually learning to really love myself, like really love who I am. I'm starting to go through all of these processes, truly see what people have seen in me and said that they've seen in me for years. And I couldn't believe it. I had all these limited beliefs, limited decisions, limited whatever things that I'd created in my head to convince myself I wasn't who everybody else said that I was. And I always said I wished I could take me out of myself and plot me into somebody else and look out through their eyes at me and see who I am, then take me back out of that person and be into me and see it and be it. And thankfully, I've just taken another process because the processes I've been doing have taken me on that journey. And I'm finally getting to see who I am, not who I convince myself to be, which is so truly enlightening. It's a beautiful place to be. And a criticizer it's not there. It's done. It's not. It still pops up, but it's nothing like it used to be. Oh my God, it was controlled my life.
Well, you stopped feeding that.
Yeah, well, I stopped feeling for starters because I was so critical on myself that I just shut down. My champion is now my new friend. See, and you see you sitting here.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, it's so much better, isn't it?
Oh, hell yeah.
But it's the thing is, I think when we think that we should change just like that, some people I think can, but there's a lot of programs that sort of go, oh yeah, you can change just like that. But really, it takes time.
It does take time. It takes work and it takes time.
Yeah. And then notice what you're noticing, raising your awareness and having the willingness to work on it and see it for just what it is.
Yeah.
Just what it is. It doesn't make it good. It doesn't make it bad. It just is.
Yeah.
And I think in the past, it would be criticism. They would build on top of each other instead of recognizing, oh yeah, that's a hand. May have a few lines on it, may have a, okay, so it's a hand, whereas before it would be sort of like, oh, it's not the right color, it's not the right shape, this is too short, that's too short, da da da. I'm
This
using
ring doesn't look good on it.
yeah, I was just using that as an example, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just like endless. That
Yeah.
was my point. It's just if you allow it to be there in your life, it's just endless, and it's a snowball, because that's what your body gets used to, and then that tells you your mind it's like well, it's a bad thing. So you look at it in that way.
And anyway,
What do we got to celebrate?
but
Well, yeah,
if anybody's watching and they find this useful, subscribe, hit the subscribe button. And you know that Sue and I do personal development work, and we're willing to help anybody who wishes to contact us.
that are willing to do the work.
Yes, that are willing to do the work.
You got to be able to do the work, because otherwise it's just a waste of time.
Yeah, because
we know the people that we attract are the people that are ready, because they've had their journey and they're ready to make a change, and that we would love to help you with.
Yeah.
So
hit the subscribe button.
come and join the funny farm. No, that's my funny farm. The madhouse, whatever you want to call it. Country life, yay.
Yeah. Oh dear, I don't know. Anyway, right.
I love you. Stay amazing, Christine.
Yes, and you. All right, I'm gonna hit the button to stop record. Take care, people.
Love you.